Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Winter Soldier, issue number 3. This was, for all intents and purposes, a pretty darn good issue. But all of a sudden I read this issue, and I had this really strange fear for the comic book industry's future. Yeah, really heavy, right? Oh, it's going to be a big one. Okay, so writer Kyle Higgins, artist Rod Reese, he also does the cover, and VC's Clayton Cowles is the letterer. Bucky Barnes was created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. We get this thing just kind of dropped in there that Tony Stark wants to make a new arm for Bucky. That could have been put in at any time. But we do that, and then also we go to 2 weeks where the comic book actually begins. I like that we had Doc Samson talking to little RJ, giving a little shrink method, the whatever. He's a psychologist. He's trying to help him out. He's giving him some therapeutic help. Anyway, just a place to talk. A free space, a safe space. And RJ, of course, is putting up barriers, as Samson says. And like this whole part was really good. This was solid. It's like, you want to help me? Fine. I'm going to put up these barriers, these hurdles, and if you can climb over them and hop over them, fine. Maybe I'll talk. But you also got to be nice about it, and not get frustrated or anything. You got to really show me that you want to help me in order for you to help me. It's the weirdest thing that we do. All right, it's the weirdest thing we do because we're afraid of being embarrassed. Oi. Very grounded in realism, and that right there set the mood for the comic book going forward. I loved that scene. RJ gets taken along with Bucky to go and try and help out this one dude, a former SHIELD agent who was a double agent who, what do you call it? He feels like he's been made. So, somebody's going to show up and try and kill me pretty soon. Well, it turns out it was right, and I like the villain in here. I love when this character is being used, going by the comic book to understand who it is. This was a really good fight, and it made everything in this comic book made a lot of sense, the whole fight and everything. But then something happened that's just so expected that it's painful to watch. I've been seeing it in the movies, I've been seeing it in the comic books, I've just been seeing it all the time. Bucky loses his left arm. Oh my God. How many times does this guy have to go through the trauma of losing his freaking left arm? It's like, here's this thing, the strongest part of his body, but it's the part that keeps on getting jacked up the most, right? Granted, it's the part he uses the most, but I mean, like, it's just so old and done for me. I'm so sick and tired of seeing, oh no, Bucky's arm got disabled. Oh no, Bucky's arm got taken off. Oh no, Bucky's arm got EMP'd. Oh no, Bucky's arm got spray paint on it. Whatever the hell it is. This could be, like, I could be reading the best comic or watching the best movie, and as soon as something happens to Bucky's arm, I'm just like, oh geez, here's this thing again. We can't hurt the character himself. Honestly, I'd have rather seen him got shot. I'd rather seen him got shot in the shoulder or the gut. Something where it's like, oh my God, this guy's going to be jacked up, rather than seeing this typical thing again where it's like, oh, his arm is safe. We can make him lose his arm, and all of it's just to give him the upgrade that Tony Stark was talking about in the beginning of this comic book, which just up and came out of the blue pretty much. Great. He could have simply said, oh, yeah, good idea. Hey, how about you just attach the thing now? That wouldn't have been hard at all. Just change the story a little bit, and he says, oh, you've got an upgraded arm for me? Sure, buddy, because I trust Tony Stark of all people. Now, I'm expecting 100%, and I'd actually be disappointed if it didn't happen, that Stark is going to implant some kind of a tracker or some kind of a something on him that's going to monitor him, and there's going to be some parts where he's like, oh, well, this is just for your health. I can see if you're getting sick or whatever, blah, 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 okay? But he's going to do something where it's going to be underhanded, and it's going to backfire, and Bucky's now going to have to go after Stark. And it's not going to be a major, but whatever. It's like, I'd almost be disappointed. No, actually, I would be crucially disappointed. Crucially, I'd be terribly disappointed if I didn't see something like that. So the trick is not, for me, the trick is not to, Tony Stark was not somebody you could trust. Duh. The trick is going to be now making me believe it, which I would imagine shouldn't be too hard to do. but it's got to be for a good reason. The reason, that's the thing that I'm not so sure of. I'm hoping for that. Anyway, most of this is just speculation at this point, but like I'm trying to find some good out of this. I like I said at the beginning of this, I feel the weight of the comic book industry is upon stories like this. Bucky is the perfect example. Like, here's his character. Everything that makes him awesome should be the whole character, but everything that makes him extraordinary is that arm. This is an arm that, like, it's supposed to be the strongest part of his body, but that's the part that's always getting jacked up. And in this particular case, it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I sacrificed my arm for... No, he was just surprised, like, oh my God, my arm got taken off. How did that happen? If a guy is awesome and he's got a robot-powered arm and you just keep on taking the arm away from him, that's not the struggle for me. That's like the easy way out. And if we've lost, if we're just so out of ideas in the comic books to do something to make me go, oh, that's something I didn't expect at all. And I know there's plenty out there like that, but things like this, it really makes me feel bad for the comic book industry. We've got to have better ideas than this. It should be a little thing, but for me, it just wasn't, because I have read probably everything about Bucky. Like, I'm talking the original Captain America comics back in the day. I've read pretty much everything that there is with Bucky. And ever since he got that arm, I feel like everybody after Brubaker is just like, so Bucky's basically going to lose his arm, and then he's got to fight to get his arm. Done. As soon as I see that, I just want to fold the comic book up and put it away. Seriously, I almost had to struggle to read the rest of the comic book. So whatever did happen at the end of the comic book, I'm not telling you what happened at the end of the comic book. It was just... everything just felt so, yeah, okay, good, Am I at the last page yet? Because I don't want to read the comic book anymore. That was such a huge letdown. Excellent example of a terrible choice, in my opinion. And that's just my feelings on it. Anyway, the art is cool. I feel like it could be better, but at the same time, I got to give mad respect to the fact that Rod Reis is actually doing all of the art. Every single thing in this book, aside from the writing and the lettering, is Rod Reis. I mean, that right there is... that's just badass. I think he even designed the logo. I'm not sure, but I don't see a what do you call the graphic designer or they usually say graphic design. So, like, literally, aside from Kyle Higgins writing and Clayton Cowles doing the letters, everything in here is Rod Reis. So any complaint I would say about the art, like, well, the faces look a little... Shut up, Bill, because holy crap, the guy did everything in this book. That's badass. That's just like Cowboy walking down the streets talking about, any of y'all get in my way. Come on! I may be watching some Red Dead Redemption live plays while I'm reading my comic books. Shut up. Anyway, all in all, enjoyable. But please, no more about Bucky's arm getting disabled. I'm so sick and tired of that. Anyway, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.